Wow, today is such a beautiful day outside. That being said, let me talk about 10 things I hate about Tokyo. Hey, I'm Hani. I live in Tokyo. This has always been my dream, but today we're going to be negative and take the piss out of this city. Woo! I wish I was a good rapper or something. I could like make a rap. Okay, no, I shouldn't make a hate rap for Tokyo. I don't know. I mean, maybe you saw my video about 10 things I like about living in Tokyo because I actually do like living here and I do think the positives outweigh the negatives. But everybody loves a good rant sometimes, and sometimes you just need to say what bothers you, you know? Like, nowhere is perfect in the world, of course. Oh, I'm just. Why is always cupboards open when I'm starting to film? Nowhere in the world is obviously perfect, and you can rant about any place that you live in, probably. Today I'm just going to say 10 things that I've noticed about the city that sometimes really bother me, but not enough that I would leave. So yeah, let's get into this. Number one, the busyness. Is that even a word? AKA the rush hour, AKA all times of the day in Tokyo, apparently. Because Tokyo is a big city, that of course means that a lot of people live here. And a lot of people here have jobs. And a lot of people here have very stressful jobs and responsibilities. And a lot of people commute to work every day, which means that a lot of times, all times of the day, there are people on the streets just going somewhere, going anywhere, and everybody's just like, and they're just like so much sometimes, like, especially if I get home at night, like, yes, you know these pictures of Tokyo where the trains are just so full that you get cramped into it and you're just like a sardine in a box or something. I've been on these trains every week. Yes, every week this happens. This is a real thing. And it is really uncomfortable, especially now in winter when you're like packaged warm and everything's just hot. Usually the trains are thankfully air conditioned, but still it gets really, really stuffy in there. And yeah, I've had better evenings spent than riding a 1 hour train next to two big men that are just hovering on each side, breathing into their phones because everybody's on their phone in the metro. I'm the kind of person, I want to go as well. I'm one of these busy people in a way. And when there's just like a herd of people in front of you and you just want to go and they're all walking so slowly, there's no space to go left or right and you just have to walk the slow tempo even though you want to run. That is one of my biggest pet peeves in life. You know that moment? So yeah, that also happens a lot. It's just sometimes annoying that there are so many people here. It is always just a lot. Staying with the theme of metro, in my what I like about videos, I said the metro, but now I have a point here as well. The metro. Number two, the metro system. Especially, I guess, the, what's it called, connection system sometimes. Because of course, you can get anywhere in Tokyo, no problem. But I feel like it's easier to go like left to right, like west to east and stuff like that, than to go up and down. Like up and down connections, especially also like in Chiba or like the left side of Tokyo, aren't very good, I feel like. Always go around and it takes a lot of time. Instead, there's no like handy connection that goes downwards sometimes. That being said, also, like, sometimes just trying to find those gates is very hard because inside these big stations where there's like 2 or 3 lines all connecting, you need to walk like a whole marathon around to find the gate even. And if you have never been there before, it always gets very confusing and you always lose a lot of time. Like, I remember Google Maps always told me, oh yeah, transfer time, 3 minutes. But then maybe you're at the end of the train and it's not 3 minutes because there's this herd of people in front of you, like I just said, walking slowly. So suddenly you lose like 10 minutes just inside the station trying to find the train, and then you don't make a connecting train, which is no problem because the next one will come in 5 minutes. But still, you know, that's just the system of it is sometimes a little bit annoying. And also it can get very expensive as well if you have to take the train every day and you don't get like a commuter pass or something from your workplace or university place. It's still okay, I'd say. It's better than Deutsche Bahn in any way. Number 3, Nihongo dake. Yeah, this one is a thing that I feel like for me, now that I've lived here for a longer time, is a positive thing because I'm actively trying to learn the language. But when I first arrived here, it's just been annoying how many places just have Japanese. And I don't mean as in like nobody can speak English, because some people, especially in the busy areas like Shibuya, Shinjuku, I'm not talking about those areas. Those are very English friendly because that's the big tourist areas. But if you go somewhere like, I don't even know, like somewhere a little bit smaller outside of Tokyo or inside of Tokyo, suddenly you're just surrounded by Japanese people. And if you need help, it's very hard to find somebody who can actually speak English or your language. And also, if you go to like historical sites or like museums, there's oftentimes just the explanation in Japanese, unless you're maybe at the Tokyo National Museum, of course they have English explanations as well. But I just find myself often walking, finding a little shrine, and all the shrine explanations only in Japanese. And I appreciate that, of course, but it's just sometimes I wish I could also take that further step and fully understand and immerse myself into the culture, but that's not possible if you don't speak Japanese very well. Luckily today we have these things. I don't know how people before the age of mobile phones got around here, because these things have Google Translate in them, and that is a lifesaver. Number 4, urusai. this is, oh my god, I'm being that Nihongo person that makes everything in Japanese now. Urusai, or just the noisiness. It's loud. It's a big city. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of like vehicles going around, and it gets loud. And even here where I live at night, the ambulance, when it comes, it's on full force volume. That thing is blasting its music. Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. It goes by my like window, I feel like every 5 minutes. I don't know where's all these accidents. I feel like the ambulances and like the police in Japan are always like wee-oo, wee-oo, so loud. And like because there's a big growing city as well, there's a lot of construction everywhere. Like yesterday we had this tea ceremony and it was this very zen tea garden. But the background noise was like because somebody was hammering at the construction site next to the house. And it was just like, well, I'm trying to be zen here, but there's this person who's obviously being so loud. And that takes away a lot from some of the nice atmospheres at temples or just inside the city when it's always just so loud. I feel myself sometimes just being overwhelmed, and that's when the AirPods go in. And I don't want to be the person that walks around with AirPods all the time because I feel like you miss out on a lot of your surroundings. But sometimes it's just too much and you just need a break. And then, yeah, I'm sorry, just bring noise cancelling headphones with you because you're going to need them here. Number 5, no trash cans. I don't know if you've heard about this, but in Japan, there's no trash cans nowhere. The only places you can actually find trash cans are konbinis, and sometimes very big public parks, they also might have them. But other than that, you won't be able to unload your trash anywhere. For that, the city is surprisingly clean though, because Japanese people don't litter unlike other countries do. I'm looking at my home country here. You need to get used to carrying your own trash bag around. Like, it was something I didn't do in the beginning, and I had this trash in my hand, and I was like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? This is dirty, I can't just put it in my backpack. But here everybody always carries like little bags around, so you carry your trash around all day and then sort it at home because of course the trash system is a whole system as well, so you need to sort it for days, and it's very complicated. Actually, I don't want to talk about the trash system because I don't understand it myself. I only know that a friend of mine told me apparently they don't have trash cans here because it was connected to like a terrorist attack a few years back. So that is why all the big trash cans were removed and everybody just sorts their trash at home. That way also they won't have like trash cans full of stuff that doesn't belong together in the trash, but everybody can actually sort it how it's supposed to be. Number 6 also connects with this in a way because everything is just plastic, so you always have a lot of trash as well. Like everything is covered in plastic. It's my biggest pet peeve when I go to the supermarket and the bananas are sold in plastic. Bananas have this natural packaging. You don't need to put them in plastic. Same goes for a lot of other things here, but like you won't find anything outside of plastic here. It's not possible. Like zero waste is not... Oh my god, are there people in Japan doing zero waste? I feel like you couldn't do that. Like you wouldn't be able to survive actually. But it's not just food items as well. Like even though that is the main thing that bothers me most of the times, it's also just everything else. You have something that's sold in plastic, that's wrapped in plastic, that's wrapped in more plastic, you know, like it's just plastic heaven. Everything that doesn't even need to be packaged 3-4 times gets packaged 3 or 4 times. That just hurts my heart sometimes because this plastic is going to be here for the next 100 years, even when I'm going to be gone. And my plastic consumption here goes up the roof. Like I've been trying to lower it down in Germany, and since I've arrived here, I've just been like, well, there's no chance in hell I'm going to be here without using plastic, so might as well just make the best of it. That's the only tip I can give you here, make the best of it. It's not something we as people can change, I feel like, but if you're like me, then it's hard and you're always going to feel a little guilty here. Like not a little, a lot actually. Number 7 is expensive. Now this one is up for debate obviously, but I feel like Tokyo is an expensive city. Yesterday I talked to somebody from New York City though, and she was like, oh my god, so cheap here. And I was like, can't relate. I don't have any money. I feel like everything is very expensive here. Like the living costs alone of course are very high. But then, as I told you before, the metro costs are also adding into that. Food, I guess, is relatively cheap, and you get really cheap options here. I feel like food can really be one of the things where you can save a little money. But yeah, just also stuff when you go out for a day, when you go out for food, it just stacks up. You need to take the train there, then maybe you're going there with a friend, you go to this restaurant, you pay the bill at the restaurant, somebody drinks a little bit more. And also, of course, you have this amazing merch and all the amazing Japanese things that you're sometimes like, ooh, buy, buy, buy. Really, like, I've pulled that down, but in the beginning when I first arrived here, I wanted to buy everything that I saw. Nowadays, I'm a little bit better with it, and I'm really just trying to actively think, is this going to add value to my life for longer, or am I just wanting to buy this because I'm a fan of the show? So just really watch your money here, so that you don't get a shock next time you look at your bank balance or something like that. Number 8 is alcohol. Now, I don't know if you guys know Strong Zero. It's pretty famous here. Strong Zero is a drink that doesn't taste like alcohol, but it will get you drunk in seconds, or like will get you drunk very, very fast because the alcohol content for what it tastes like is very high. And Strong Zero is very popular here and a lot of people drink it. But I feel like in Japan, alcohol really is a big, big thing. And I feel like, of course, is in many countries, like I've heard in the UK, of course, people do drink a lot there as well. But drinking culture here is very like, get pissed kind of thing, you know, like get drunk for the sake of getting drunk. And a lot of people do get drunk I feel like nearly even daily, because it's also so easy and cheap here to get drunk. Like I said, strong zero will really hit home, and sometimes it does make for a little bit of uncomfortable like atmosphere, especially at night when you're trying to go home and everybody in the train, or not everybody of course, but a lot of people in the train are drunk. I feel like you will see a lot of drunk people here, and you need to get used to that being a part of the culture. And it's not necessarily a super bad thing, it's just something that I wasn't aware is such a big thing here. Number 9, when it rains. Now, of course, a city isn't its weather. But Tokyo, ooh, in the summer it's just hot, hot, hot. In the winter now it gets really cold, but it's the worst. I feel it's the worst when it rains. A, because all of these people suddenly spring out their umbrellas from 7-Eleven, and the space that they would have needed, which was like this, suddenly gets like this. And then you've got... It's even harder to walk around because everybody's there with their big ass umbrellas. And because Tokyo is like a city of a lot of concrete, the water doesn't just vanish, the water just stands. You better hope that you're wearing good rain boots when it rains. Sometimes I wonder like how these people who are always wearing like high heels or ballerinas here actually fare when it rains, because I feel like they still are wearing these shoes, but I would be like drenched to the socks. And also Tokyo when it rains is just wet, annoying. There's just and it's just always a lot. It never just rains a little. If it rains a lot. There's just a lot of water coming down. You got to deal with it. Thankfully now in winter we are out of the rain season, or the big rain season, but in summer, especially when it's hot and it just rains all the time, it does get very annoying. Like my hair as well. I have curly hair. I'm sorry, it doesn't fare well with this weather. A rainy day back at home in the countryside is nice. It's like this atmosphere, the pitter-patter of the rain. Here it's just annoying. And number 10, the last thing that I want to talk about, Anonymous? Anonymity? I'm just gonna name this point Anonymous. Number 10, Anonymous. There are a lot of people here. Everybody has their own life. Everybody has their own goals in life. But because of that, and because everybody's always so busy and stressed, it's not a very open city. There's not a lot of people who are just like welcoming in a way. Like, of course, if you go into a store, everybody's playing that part, like, irashaimase, like, of course, like, do you want something? Also, that is pretty annoying though. Like, when you're in the store, the people, like, the store clerks are just all the time yelling, irashaimase, yokoso! Like, they're always screaming at you, and I'm just like, just let me shop, okay? I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, that was another point. Maybe I'm gonna have to make another video. It's just lonely. It gets lonely, and I feel like it gets lonely for the Japanese people as well, but because of the culture and because you don't show emotion here, it gets even more lonely. Like, you are this secluded piece of person, and there's really not a lot of social interaction or connection between all of these people that you see all day. And that is kind of weird, because you're in this place where there's more people than I've ever seen in my life, but at the same time I have less connections to all of these people than ever before. In a small country or like in a small village, everybody knows each other, everybody's friendly with each other, everybody greets each other. I feel like here I don't even greet my neighbors. That is kind of sad, I feel like, and it's a missed chance of human connection and of trying to get better together. So yeah, I feel like that's one of the main points in Tokyo when you come here. Also, a lot of people that hate the city in the end say it was a lonely place. It's a place that isn't open. There aren't just these easy conversations that just flow in daily life. It's just all very played, robotic, and sometimes a bit hard and cold. So I feel like the gist of the thing is Tokyo is amazing if you have money and friends. If you don't, it's gonna be a little bit harder. Anyway, I feel like this was enough ranting for one day. All of these points obviously are just like taken with a grain of salt as well. Like, I don't hate any of this. It's just part of it. It just gets annoying sometimes. At the same time, I love this city. I love being here, and I love that I get this opportunity to be here as well. Like, I'm very grateful for it. Also, thank you to you. I'm very grateful that you watched this video. As always, have a nice day, have a nice night wherever you are, and bye, me back on my channel.